we drew a hat earlier who would go first for the speeches. Have you got a stopwatch? Okay, so Ewan Mowat is up first, so you've got 3 minutes. Good luck.
Hi guys, as Colin says, I'm Ewan Mowat, but I'm better known as Mubs to pretty much everyone who knows me. Fourth year student studying sport and physical activity, so obviously I've been heavily involved with sport in and around the university since I came, and I've been a member of the football team every year I've been here. Last year I was Wednesday second team manager, and this year I'm Saturday second team manager. If you elect me as your sports president, I'll aim to increase sports participation, both competitive and non-competitive. In terms of our sports clubs, I'm looking for better communications with postgrads because there's a lot of untapped potential in there, as well as with the Erasmus students. Things like the refreshers fair was quite poorly attended this year, so I think if it gets a bit more publicity, there's a chance to reach out to get better players for our clubs. And I want to maintain a strong link with the sports course. Like the sports course I've been involved in, I know there's a lot of people there that are good enough to represent our clubs but haven't really had the chance because they only do it if someone says, or someone their friends goes and says, oh, you should come over and do it. So I know from personal experience that there's people there that should be going for our university, should be sportsman members, but haven't had that opportunity. In terms of non-competitive sport, we've got, as Ian was talking about, we've got Rusk, which is really good, but I think it's maybe not being promoted as well as it could have been, and there's a chance to get some non-competitive sport there for a large amount of people, because that sort of thing gives us well-being benefits in terms of mental health and that sort of thing. I'm looking to maintain club standards through Club Mark and facilitate the development to the interactive level. Again, as Ian was saying about Club Mark, it's really important for future-proofing clubs, and the interactive level gives a chance for a 3-year plan to keep clubs more solid, especially if they have potentially a dodgy handover, and it gives a chance just the club is going to stay solid. I want to promote mental health benefits of physical activity, something that I've learned about throughout my course, the other benefits outside of physical activity and sport, things like helping with depression and anxiety, and this is another good opportunity for recreational sport, as people who are maybe put off competitive sport can get a chance. I'd like to improve on our current Bucks ranking. As an athlete, I know how important it is to play at the highest level possible. I would love to catch GU and become the premier sporting university in the city. I think that would be great for all of us, as we all know we want to play as best we can. And I'd like to ensure that all facilities and resources are used to their full potential. Obviously I know certain clubs have certain issues about their facilities, so if we get the most training times possible, our clubs are going to be developed as well as they can. Thanks very much.
Hi guys, how are we doing? I'm Andrew Watson. I'm on the badminton team. I was captain last year of the seconds, one promotion. I've also held roles of social convener. I'm on the same course as Ewan, in my 4th year also. I've held quite a good relationship with previous sports presidents, which means I think I've got an insight not only to the good bits, like we're saying, like sports ball, really brilliant, but also the times when they maybe want to shoot themselves. So I think I've got a really good gauge of the good bits, the bad bits, and what to expect. I've got a few things in the box, a few things out of the box that I want to do if I was in getting a position. One of them, the coaching culture. I think Colin and the exec this year have taken a few steps to the coaching culture and implementing. The top teams will look to getting them coaches. We all know Ian works hard with his grants, and there's money there to be tapped. What I want to do in my time in charge, I want every competing first team to have a coach involved. It's really vital. I mean that you get a coach. Where the karate kid be without Mr. Miyagi? Ask yourself that. I also think another really important thing is sexual health initiatives. Okay. What I'd look to do at things like the Freshers Fair, Refreshers Fair, we all want to have a good time at uni, but I would like to sort of link up with the Sandyford and the NHS and get them along to do free clinics so that people can get themselves checked over. It's really important, and do that. On another topic, recreational sport. Like Ewan said, we've got Rusk, absolutely brilliant. He said he wanted to promote it. I want to promote it exactly by getting out through club emails. And at the minute we've got one a week at this moment in time. What I'd like to do is maybe have one every 3 weeks. Instead of having a poster up saying we've got Rock Up Sports Club, I want to really hammer the promotion for those 3 weeks of the exact sport and get everyone talking about it so that when it does come around, the participation is really high. Finally, the marketing, increased membership. Membership, like I said, has been up over 37% this year. I think we can get that even higher. Olympic legacy, Commonwealth Games coming up, one campus move. I think it's a really good opportunity to get people involved. And yeah, that's vote Andrew Watson. Thank you very much.
Okay, hey guys, I'm James Reid, a fourth year accounts and finance student. Hopefully by the time I've finished speaking to you today, you'll have made your minds up and be able to pass on to the rest of your teams that I'm the right man for the Vice President Sports Wellbeing job. In terms of sporting experience, I've been a committed member of the swim team during my 4 years at Strathclyde, and I was elected male captain last year and president this year. I was also elected onto the Sports Union Exec Committee midway through the year, so I feel I've got current and relevant experience of both sides of the sports union. So I'll be able to understand the issues that you guys face right now, and it would put me in good stead to being able to rectify these situations. Alongside varsity experience, I've competed at swimming at a national level for over 7 years, so I understand the commitment that elite athletes need to put into their sport when training for the first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I'll strive to ensure that you receive as much support as possible to achieve both individual and team goals. I've also been coaching all abilities of swimming for the past 3 years, so I understand the trials of taking up a new sport, and if appointed as VPSW, I'll aim to make any student keen to start a new sport experience this transition as smoothly as possible. Now I'll move on to policies. My first policy is regarding the Glasgow Commonwealth Games 2014. They're the biggest sporting event to hit Glasgow, and I will ensure that Strathclyde has a huge involvement. Strathclyde volunteers will be able to capitalise on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and have the full support of the sports union when they're giving up their time. With the Games being such a huge cultural event, I will ensure that all Strathclyde students can get involved, with various events running around campus. Regardless of whether you're from a sporting or non-sporting background, these are our games and I want you all to be a part of them. Secondly, participation in Strathclyde sport. I will ensure that all students feel welcome to take part in sports at Strathclyde, regardless of your previous experience. From speaking to students as to the reasons they do not participate in university sport, a common theme was because they feel they're not good enough or couldn't commit to all the training sessions. I want to target these people and make sure that the ones that are keen on trying a new sport for the first time and make them experience the same positive experience that over 1,800 sports union members currently have. Another key area of focus is on students who currently participate in club sports at a high level but have never been involved with Strathclyde. Oh, 30 seconds. I always hear of students who are always competing at a high level but have never taken part at Strathclyde, so I want to make sure that they're clear of the benefits of a Strathclyde Sports Union membership. Finally, with regards to club kit, this is a main issue in my manifesto. I understand that kit is a pressing issue for all sports teams. As executive officer on the sports union exec, I'm currently involved in organising a kit supplier, and I'll be able to build on this experience to ensure that our supply sell as they can. Finally, thank you for listening, and yeah, vote James Reid. Cheers.
Hello everyone, I'm James Corbett and I'm one of the candidates for Vice President Sports Wellbeing. I'm a fourth year electrical mechanical engineer student and I'll just tell you a bit about myself. I've been involved in the basketball team since my first year and I also played for the rugby first 15. Don't look at that picture, it's horrible. The first 15 for my first and second year. So that's about kind of my background at Sports Strathclyde. Last year I was club captain of men's basketball, which saw us have our second team for the first time ever, and they actually gained promotion in the first year. And this year I was elected as Vice President of proceedings. Main roles in that, responsibilities in that role were to lead the organisation of sports ball, which I'm sure you all had a great time at, and make sure that all the work being done to contribute to the work done with all the various committees that were happening throughout the year. I am also a qualified basketball official and coach, which I enjoy immensely, and that is a benefit that I've got from the sports union and the funding that they've provided for me. And actually, I wouldn't be there at the situation I am with both of those qualifications if I hadn't got the support that I got from them. Bit about my policies, okay? Wednesday afternoons, okay? Wednesday afternoon sport, kind of specifically for you guys. University has made a commitment, okay, through Colin's good work this year for Wednesday afternoons after 1 o'clock to be made free for you to represent in Bucks and Triple S sport, okay? I want to make sure that is continued, make sure that doesn't fall to the wayside, and that's going to be done by communicating with faculties, keep communication lines open with the principal, and making sure that a solid commitment is made from the university for that to keep happening for a number of years after I leave. New sports facilities. Neil talked about how busy the gym is. The gym has been busy since I've been at Strathclyde, and it's just getting busier and busier and busier. He talks about the need for it to make it busy, to make it bigger, to make it more machines. What we need is, I briefly touched on the plans that he's got to actually start petitioning to university to make sure that we have plans in to get a new sports facility. How I'm going to improve that communication is from going at a different angle, talking to the student president, talking to the principal, making sure that the needs of the student body are actually heard, and make sure that you actually are enjoying your student experience, because I think the student experience at Strathclyde can improve vastly from a new sports facility. Not only in terms of finding better training facilities for our teams, better gym opportunities for people to exercise, but also to just attract more people into doing physical activity. Participation for all. Sport and physical activity need not be competitive, and it need not be there for. Is that 3 minutes? Thank you, Sean. Okay, thanks guys. Sports Change Call.
Yeah, and then your fifth candidate is good old reopen nominations. But I'm sure amongst the four of these guys, you can find one you like. So well done to everyone for those speeches, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to get my bell. If people just want to raise hands, we can start taking some questions. We'll go with Elaine first, and the order they'll be answered in is Andy Watson, James Reid, James Corbett, Ewan.
James Reid kind of touched on this a little bit, but we've got a question is, what do you think the key reasons are for students not participating in sport at Strathclyde, and how do you hope to address these?
Okay, thank you for your question. I think the reasons why a lot of people don't, one of my manifesto points actually is recreational sport. I think there's quite a clique culture in many of the sports. I know in badminton there definitely is one. Whereas if you're outside the top two teams, it's a lot harder to get into the teams, and it's a lot harder to make friends. What I would do towards this, obviously Rusk's a great thing for that, but I want to look at inter-course sport. So from a recreational point of view, it means people have already got, say, friends established on their courses. What they can do is they can say we can hold any sport or various sports day. They can get their own team with friends they've already got, come along, bit of competition, try out various sports, and if they enjoy it, then hopefully they join in, breaking down that sort of clique barrier, because they can go on with other people. Yeah, if that answers your question.
Okay, sorry, I should have said at the start, we'll give a minute and a half to each candidate. Yeah, James Reid.
Okay, in answer to that question, as I touched on in my speech, the main two reasons that I heard were for people not taking part in sport were they either felt that they weren't good enough to compete at a varsity level, or they didn't have the time commitments to keep attending training. In my opinion, obviously you hear of people that are competing at a high level or competing at any sort of level and don't feel welcome. I think that's something that it could be broadcast from the top down, right from the sports president, kind of an open arm approach to, if you want to come, because a lot of people, they come along to one training session and then they realise there was nothing to be worried about in the first place, and they'll keep coming back. And it's trying to break down that initial barrier of getting people to come along to try out that sport, to meet some new people. A lot of people don't realise, the social aspects of it as well. And it's funny the number of times that you hear from speaking to people that do sport outside of uni, but just haven't even given the consideration to trying it at a uni level, and they always think that it's a separate set of people that are doing the university sport. So we need to break that down immensely, just straight from the top, and just kind of make the sports union seem more accessible to anyone, regardless of sort of playing background.
James Corbett.
Okay, this kind of gives me an opportunity to go into my third point, which I didn't get a chance to. Making sure that everyone feels welcome to come and try sports at Strathclyde University. Despite the fact that people have never tried a sport before, need to be given that opportunity. And if they don't want to try a new sport, or they don't want to go and join a team, we need to target the opportunities they can have to just go out and do physical activity. Okay, so that, in my mind, that includes the mountaineering club, and that also includes things like surfing, and swimming, and sports or activities where you're not always at a competitive level. You can actually just go along and have a good time, and there's someone there to organise it for you, club committee, make sure that you get out outdoors, have a good time, and make sure you actually get some physical activity. And we need to make sure that students know the benefits of physical activity, mental and social benefits, as well as actually making themselves physically fitter and helping to actually stave off illness in later life, and make sure that they make new friends and have new experiences and actually go out and enjoy their time while at university, which I think a lot of people find stuff to do at university that isn't kind of getting them exercise. I think they can benefit a lot from actually having opportunities to actually get new things to
Well, in terms of participation, I think it's great that we've got our, like 1,800 plus members. I think that's great that we're increasing our members like year on year. But even everyone's talked about like things like rusk and recreational sport and how good that is for us. But even within sports clubs, as I've said earlier, there's chances in every course. But especially with postgrads, like there's ways they come in a month early. A lot of them don't know. They're in placements during the week. They don't know what they can do, what other sports are available to them. So it's up to us as a sports union to let them know what sports they're available to do. And in terms of recreational sport, I think rusk is really good, but it's only running for 5 weeks this year, obviously because the numbers were poor last year. But if we can increase, as the numbers are going up this year, they're increased. If we can make that longer, maybe rather than just 5 weeks in one semester, run it over both semesters, and just make sure people are more aware of it, because it gives you, there is social benefits like meeting new people, as well as you learn new skills, different sports. I mean, this year I went along and I learned a bit of kabaddi, which was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. But just other things, as we all know, like being part of a sports club is huge social aspects to it. I know that like I didn't play at the weekend. I just played Wednesday sports in first year, and it was due to having such a good social aspect, bonding with so many players in the team, that I left my my club and came to play Strathclyde at the weekend as well. But I'd encourage club links to like social events, like large scale social events for the sports union that are open to everyone, and it gives.
Sorry. Okay, thanks for the answers, and thanks, Elaine, for the question. Women's Rugby, can we have a question
Yeah,
about that?
I think it was Ewan who mentioned Erasmus students and the international foreign community here. I know from personal experience coming here a year and a half ago, it's not always easy as a foreign student to join up in the sports team. I still have no idea what a rugby coach is trying to tell me most of the time because I don't understand his Glaswegian accent. So I would just like to hear from all of you your views and ideas on getting the foreign student community more involved in sports and overcoming some of the issues, not just accent-wise, that there might be for the foreign students participating in sports.
Thank you. James Reid, do you want to go first?
It's a good issue that you're bringing up, because certainly on the swim team we're always getting people coming in, if it's say Erasmus students just for half a semester, and you tell them a set and they catch about half of it. And I think a lot of it's just awareness, starting from the Freshers Fair. I can only imagine being if I was a foreign student, you go along to the Freshers Fair and it all seems pretty big, and you wouldn't quite it'd be quite hard to catch what's going on. So it's all about I'd say from the start of the semester, just trying to make it as accommodating as possible for foreign students coming in. In terms of just communication between coaches and participants, I think.
But that's just in the rugby team.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, even still, I mean, just having these issues there, gives something to work on, and I do think that an increase in awareness from the start of the year would certainly make it easier for Erasmus students to adapt into sort of Strathclyde sport if it's somewhat different from what they've been used to at previous institutions.
James Corbett.
At Strathclyde we're very lucky to have so many international students who come here each year, and they actually provide a lot of talent for sports teams while they're here. And as a basketball team member, we've actually benefited a lot from French and Spanish guys coming over. In terms of their awareness of what's going on in the sports union, I think it takes a few weeks for them to actually get to realise what's happening, when training is, and what they need to do. I think it could be the Erasmus community could be targeted a lot better, and actually emails sent out and publicity made directed at them to say, here's sport at Strathclyde, are you talented in a specific area, come and join our teams. I think there's definitely a lot of work to be done on that, and actually making sure that they feel involved and they feel like they're actually contributing to Strathclyde while they're here to study.
As I mentioned earlier, I was talking about I mentioned the refreshers fair, because I was there and I sat at the sports union table for a long time. There was a lot of people that were just sitting about their certain tables, and there was not that many people coming in, and I felt that we need to promote that sort of thing better, because Erasmus students, if they're coming for their second semester, this is their first opportunity to get them, and I felt it wasn't well enough publicised, because I sat down there all day and I went upstairs to the sports unit later on, and about 5 minutes after going in there was 5 or 6 Brazilian people asking me about football, asking me about different sports, where this was. So I think it's important that we publicise things like Refreshers Fair, and as James was saying, if we can get specific emails sent out and to let them know what's happening with the details of what clubs have got, where they train, when they train, that sort of thing.
I'm going to take a slightly different approach to this. Halls of residence. The majority of our international students that come across stay in halls of residence, and therefore that's where they get to meet each other along with other people that are in their sports teams. There's very little publicity within our halls with what you can do, or even how to find out information about what you can do. Like I said in one of my points about inter-course sport, I think like Colin said, he's sitting on the committee at the minute of halls for the games that they're going to have. That's a great way to get people involved. Obviously not that one, but like I said, the inter-hall sport, that gets them in the door, and then you can really target them that way.
Okay, thanks for the question. I had one from fencing down the front and then one from fencing up the back, so I'll take Cal first.
Well, it's not a fencing related point, it's just a point for everyone. Every one of you mentioned coaching culture. What would you actually do to improve the coaching culture, not just for high level athletes, but for all sports units?
So James Corbett, do you want to take this one first?
Having a coach provides an opportunity for training sessions to be structured, for them to actually have an objective and outcomes from that session. And I think every level of sport can benefit from that, just not just the first teams. Making teams aware of that, and actually not so much doing it themselves, but actually making teams aware that they can apply to the sports union for funding to put them through courses, can actually just give that little bit more structure and that little bit more experience and knowledge to those teams without necessarily having to bring in an external coach, which can be expensive, can be hard to do, and might not be appropriate for what they're trying to do with that team. Getting a coach in would be fantastic. We'd want every club, every team, every club to have a coach, and we'll always try and do that. Clubs who are not quite managing to get there, it's important that they know where the resources are to actually help them organise their club and make sure that structures are in place for them to organise and make their sessions viable and make their sessions actually fun, and make sure that people are enjoying themselves and they're actually meeting their goals.
I think in terms of coaching, it does come down in a lot to awareness, because we have coaching fund in the sports union, and it's obviously clubs that don't have a coach, it'd be good for them to get one, but there's a lot to do with awareness of helping people, like promoting from within. I know now the football team's got a couple of boys that are going through trying to do their badges, and I don't know if they've actually known that you can be supported through funding from the sports union to actually go and do it. And as James was saying, like, you'd love to bring in a coach that can do this, but that costs money, and whereas if you're able to promote from within, it's someone who has grown up with and know, and that can help all throughout, like every level of every team. And I just think that it's something to do, like, see with things like Club Mark and trying to push on to the interactive level. If you're trying to put in your 3-year plan, you're looking for at least someone to go through. It's the sort of thing you're looking to future-proof your club with that. And if you've got in your 3-year plan that you're looking to push 1 or 2 people through, like funding to get their coaching badges, I think that's the sort of thing that clubs need to look at and just be more. I think as a sports union, we need to make them more aware of the opportunities they've got in terms of funding.
I think I'm correct to say that I'm the only person with a specific point towards the coaching culture in my manifesto. And like I said, with Colin taking the steps this year for the top few selected clubs that have been to get to the top tier clubs, getting coaches, what I'd do is to look to have, like Ewan said a bit, you've got to show interest that you're looking to put people through coaching in your club. I know from the badminton team there's quite a few of us that are coaches that can coach on a regular weekday night, and we are also looking to get a coach in. So I mean, it's not all completely what can the sports union give us. We need to show a bit that we're looking to do this, and then we'll really show that we can help you at the same time by getting coaches, as I said, into as many first teams as we can.
I think coaching culture is, or an improvement in coaching culture is probably as an end goal that you're looking to have, and by achieving that, you've got to look at individual clubs and how you'd improve the coaching culture in that particular club. For example, there would be some clubs that would benefit from having one coach at a training session every week, whereas some it would be handy to have a coach there for beginners and a coach there for sort of your more kind of intermediate or advanced members. I think being able to work out which clubs are needing coaches, how many coaches, what different kinds of coach, is something that could really be kind of worked out along with sort of at a Club Mark level. Being able to ensure that you obviously a coach costs money, and you're able to effectively use this coach for the right ability at the right sort of time of the training session as well.
Okay, thanks for an answer, Sam, for the question, Cal. Joe, fencing.
Throughout this year, we've had quite a bit of trouble trying to promote the club members, getting to know club members from other university clubs in Glasgow, like all the fencers from Glasgow at Calling University, largely because we found it really hard to organise events between all 3 clubs. What would you do to promote that kind of interaction between clubs at Strathclyde and clubs in the local area? on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, Marcus, you first.
Well, obviously it is important for clubs to be linked. Obviously you won't have a good social aspect within your club, but with clubs in the surrounding area, and I understand with fencing there's maybe not as many fencing clubs as there are in, for instance, football and basketball around the area, so it's clearly important. And I think things like running events, not just social events for instance like the fencing through a social, we could have it accommodated in the union for local fencing clubs, that sort of thing, but actually trying to organise like events. So we've got the Glasgow Cup for us amongst the universities, but it's something like that. If you would take the initiative to try and run it, obviously the sports union would do everything they can to help you, because it's good. It's creating links with local clubs and that sort of thing. It's good for us to be linked with clubs in a surrounding area, because it promotes Strathclyde with their clubs that they've got youngsters coming through. If a club was to take the initiative, and Strathclyde the sports union could help with that, to try and organise an event for, say, a tournament similar to the Glasgow Cup on a smaller scale for specific sports, trying to organise a special day, and then they could have like a social after it. That way everyone's interacting on the field and off it.
I'd like to think that I'm a really approachable guy. What I'd be looking to do is, obviously, if a certain club's struggling to get links with other clubs, or if you've identified clubs, I'd like to think that if I was in a position through my own contacts at, say, Glasgow Uni Sports President, Glasgow Cali, I'd be able to simply supply that information with you. So I'd like to be able to, for you to be able to come to me, say, I've got this issue, this is what we'd like to do, can you help me? I could then go to say Glasgow, relay that information to them. Could very well be that they're in exactly the same boat as you, and you just need someone to actually make that move. I can be that guy that gets information for you, pass it back to you, and then you've got a direct correspondence with, say, their team captain to yours to organise as you want.
I think it's a good point, trying to establish links with the other, or if not links, just communication between the other sports at other universities, and especially at the start of the year. That's one thing I think that the freshers intervarsity is great for, because not only does it get the freshers involved in the teams, but it's also a great chance to meet the other teams from the other unis. So in terms of further increasing that to your full club, you could say organise friendly matches or even just social events, so that you've got the number of the other president or the captain at Cali and Glasgow for your particular sport, and you'd be able to organise, say, if there's a Wednesday where you don't have a match on, a Triple S or a Bucks match, you could have a friendly match, or just improve links right from the start of the year, and kind of be able to use that to carry on throughout the year. I know certainly on swimming we go down to Sheffield for our British unis, so, and it's always good knowing that there's who to look out for from Glasgow and Cali and a few of the other Scottish unis, and kind of having faces that you recognise. So I think that's something that you could establish right from the get-go, and get kind of the teams, because obviously committees change every year, so getting committees to get to know other committees and first team players to socialise and compete with other teams.
Joe, am I right in saying that fencing only have 3 or 4 events they go to a year?
Yeah.
You're kind of in a kind of as the boat where you don't have a fixture every week, and you're kind of looking for something to do, so you have plenty of spare time throughout the week, throughout the semester, to organise events. A lot of clubs don't necessarily have that. They're kind of full up with fixtures as much as they can commit, but definitely clubs who are looking to put on extra events and actually make sure that their team is getting experience in their sport, and actually opening up communication links between different sporting clubs. Maybe not even just universities, maybe other fencing clubs within the area. That could be an excellent thing to look to do. There's definitely scope there for making sure that each committee knows these are the clubs to contact, who to contact in these clubs. It's an awkward one, as James pointed. University club committees tend to change quite a lot every year, so knowing who to contact is kind of a bit awkward. It may be good to have a generic club email address rather than an individual address, or a personal email address for the club contacts, so that there's always one point of contact for anyone who wants to contact your club to go to. and it could be good for clubs to be made aware of that, and made aware that the fact that.
Thanks, James. Can I get any more questions?
How would you guys, as the sports president, to be ensure that developing clubs and teams get the same support as those that are long-standing and self-sufficient, like to make sure that they have enough support to get them to the same sort of standards as the rest of them?
Andy Watson, you're up first.
Hi there. What I'd be doing is looking for the clubs that are, say, underdeveloped, less developed, don't have as much participation, making sure that they're the clubs in our RUSC. I think that's a great way to get people involved in your club. Archery this year is a great example of just their numbers have absolutely skyrocketed after the Olympics. Also making everyone aware, although Ian says every week, every month to you guys here, that he is there to help push your clubs forward and help it move it on. It's only you guys that are hearing this. So unless you guys are relaying that back to your clubs, it's quite tough. So I'd really make sure, I'd try and publicise that he's available, that he's there to help all the time. Come 24/7. And yeah, so RUSC and really utilising Ian, not as you utilised already, but promoting him to that extent. Thank you.
I think it's a very valid concern, the development of smaller, kind of less well-known, or you say less popular sports, to ensure that year on year that they're going to be able to be developed. Obviously, from my standpoint, having been involved in swimming, that's quite a well-known sport. So it's not an issue that you necessarily have to consider with that. But I think it's in terms of just making how many people outside of the sports union, for example, know about an ultimate frisbee team, for example, and it's just trying to increase awareness and let people know that there are 48 teams in the sports union, and this is a number of what they are, and that's something if you think of university sport, you think of the majority of people will think of X, Y, and Z, and they won't consider these other teams. And that's something that it's really important to ensure that year on year people are aware, and if there's awareness there'll be demand of people aware, and if there's awareness there'll be demand of people wanting to at least try it. If they've not tried the new sport, then they'll try it, because that's one good thing about having a sport that's a bit of a niche, is that people might want to try it. They've never done a certain sport before, so they'll come along, enjoy it and stay. But it's all about trying to get them aware that the university has a team in that field, and that they can come along and try it out as part of their sports union membership.
That's a good question, Jan, and I think that new clubs such as yourself, Women's Rugby, actually need more support than the big long-standing clubs. For example, Men's Rugby and football, and you actually need to be nurtured and make sure you know where you're going and make sure you have a plan for the next X number of years. Even more importantly than having a plan for rugby for X number of years, because it's kind of self-sufficient and it kind of keeps itself going. Developing those plans take time, they take effort, and it's kind of on the onus of the committee of that new club to actually go and seek that help, and that help will be provided. That help they will get all the support that they need if they come and ask for it. If they're not asking for it and they're kind of falling away, then that needs to be pinpointed, and we need to actually see. A classic example is handball. We used to have a handball team. I know for this year, guys, there's a handball club we try to set up. It's kind of in its infancy again now, and it's been built up. Hopefully, and within the next few years, we should have a fully functioning handball club again. What we need to do is actually pinpoint the clubs that are kind of not suffering but need that little extra push, that have just started in the next few years, and make sure that the committee have actual goals and where they know they want to be, and that comes into the club mark. And if that
right, as a good question, as James was saying, that it is important that new clubs that are just trying to find their feet are actually getting more support than long-standing clubs, and I think that's where Club Mark is so good, because it gives you a chance to set the just set a level of a year-on plan, and then if you step up to interactive level, that gives you a 3-year plan. So if you're a new club, you maybe only go in a couple of years, you're planned ahead for the next 3 years. So I think that sort of thing is really good for helping keep your club stable. And obviously there is onus on yourself to do it, but in the sports union we're definitely there to help. And I think in terms of, I know personally from you guys, women's rugby, you had an issue with you had to pull out because you hadn't had enough training, and I think that was one of the points is about trying to ensure as many facilities and resources are used to their full potential. And I know steps is with the hockey pitch steps, you can't really train on that to do contact rugby. I know football is a bit of an issue for us. I know the rugby boys and obviously yourselves have had issues with that, so much so that you guys had to pull out of the league. So I think it's working out times where it's best possible, times for each club to get what they need from their training, what we need from all the facilities. I know stuff's tight at things like the CSR and the Royal College Gym for other sports, and steps is fully booked as well, but just trying to work out a schedule for all clubs to get what they need. So it's better for us if you guys are competing in bucks and winning us points. It looks good on us if we've got a strong women's rugby team as well. So that's just trying to use our resources to the maximum to work out best for every club.
Has anyone else got any questions that we want to ask? Okay, I'll just, if we do one last round, starting with James Reid, and you've only got 30 seconds. You all have a lot of similar points on manifestos. You've all been on club committees, you've all been in the exec. Why should I vote for you? James Reid.
Okay, I feel that you should vote for me. Partly one because of the experience that I've got from a playing, coaching, and obviously university background. I know that club kit is a massive issue for all of you guys, and I want to ensure that clubs are supplied for next year's health to account. And that's something, it should be. It's a simple process, and I want to ensure that it stays that way. Regards to the participation and the Glasgow 2014, obviously I made my points earlier, but I think definitely the experience I have from actually having been there and done that really stands me in good stead to represent you guys as a sports president next year.
Corbett.
Okay. I hope you'd vote for me through the experience I've had on the sports union executive, through being a club captain. I've been in many leadership roles throughout my life. I was a regimental sergeant major in the Armed Cadet Force. I'm now a coach. I've been on the exec this year, club captain. All these things have given me the knowledge and experience, people skills, and actually management type skills that I need to run this role. And I would like to open the student body up to new experiences, because we're not just here to educate ourselves intellectually, but also about life.
Hi guys, I think you should vote for me because everyone here is on the exec. I think in terms of my role as governance, it's rules and regulations that govern all our clubs. I think my knowledge in that base is something that stands me in good stead to be your sports president. As well as that, on my manifesto I've got a couple of points about club development, and it's a vote for me. I'm looking to develop your clubs in terms of future-proofing them and in terms of making them better so we can challenge at a higher level for bucks, because everyone wants to be playing at the highest level possible.
Thank you. Vote for us.
Hi guys, I've got just as much experience as everyone else here, as we all do. I feel like I'm a leader, yet I'm very approachable. I'm the type of guy that you can come up to. James said one of his points is on kit. We're looking to organise our kit with the sports course. I've been on that sports course for 4 years. Got really good relations there. I've got the most varied manifesto, everything from making sure you're sexually healthy and aware to coaching culture. I'm the full package. Well, Andy Watson, thank you.
Right, can we get a round of applause for all four of our candidates? Thank you guys. Polling is on the 18th and 19th. Am I correct, guys?
9 AM on the 18th until 3 on the
9 AM on the 18th until 3 PM on the 19th. So make sure you all vote. Make sure all your club members vote. It is important. This is the person that's going to be that you're going to be listening to in general meetings for the next year. So yeah, thanks for everyone who gave the question and to the guys who are standing.